Hi, welcome back. We are revisiting a cult classic here on the channel today, and it is much overdue. I'm going to be doing a full face of bareMinerals and of course talking about their latest foundation launch, which is the original Pure Serum Radiant Natural Liquid Foundation. This is a 93% skincare infused foundation, and it also only contains 23 ingredients. I had the opportunity to try this out for the past couple weeks, and I am partnering with bareMinerals to share a little bit more about this and also revisit some oldies and new products. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. It's really important you give the foundation a good shake before you use it. I decided to go with the shade Light Neutral 2. This is the best fit for me right now. I am kind of a little bit in my in-between shade, not as dark as I was earlier in the summer, but also I'm not as fair as I normally would be in the wintertime. So this is a really good in-between shade for me currently. One of the best parts about this foundation, in my opinion, is that it is marketed to use with your hands, which is crazy because every single time there is a foundation launch with a brand, there always has to be a brush that you buy with it. And I love that they did not do that with this foundation. And for me personally, the less tools, the better. So much quicker to apply, so much more natural. So you can do between half a pump to 1 pump, depending on the type of coverage that you want. I've actually built this up to 2 pumps and find that it still looks ultra natural. So if you feel you need a little bit more coverage, don't be afraid to use an extra pump. I am going to use the full pump today, and what you do is you just pump it on the back of your fingers, and it is a very thin texture. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see this at work. And what you're going to do with your initial pump, I like to kind of warm everything up in my hands, and you start in the center of the face and you press outwards. Now, if you don't find that your problem areas are in the center of the face, you can start in whichever area you feel you need the most coverage. But for me, that's generally around my nose here, on my nose, my chin, and then my eyes also get redness. This does contain hyaluronic acid and glycerin for hydration, and then it also contains something called the white lily flower, which is supposed to help improve your skin after 7 days of use. Now, I know some of you are going to be curious on how this is different from the Bare Skin Serum Foundation, which was released several years ago. And from just using this in the past couple weeks, what I found is that I feel as if it definitely has more coverage than that one, and also is a little bit more buildable. Like, I have a little bit more control with this formula, and I can get a solid medium coverage with it, whereas the Bare Skin Serum was more, in my opinion, of like a lighter coverage foundation. So this is about a pump and a half on my face. I did go in with about a half pump more just because I wanted a little bit more coverage today. And I have to say that it's a beautiful formula. I've worn it for several hours throughout the day. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a wear test on this foundation and you'll see how it wore throughout the day. I'll also post it here for those of you who don't have Instagram. It should be in my shorts, but you can actually see me wearing this throughout the day. And it is a foundation that it is going to fade a little bit by that 8-hour mark, but it's one of those foundations I talk about as being like a graceful fade. So I've talked about the graceful fade here on my channel for several years. And what I mean by that is like by the 8 to 9 hour mark, instead of there being streaks or, you know, areas where the foundation has clinged to your face, it's just going to be a little bit more faded. I find that my skin, it's almost as if I were to just use like half a pump of this for my face. I think this clip really speaks for itself. This is such an accurate representation of how this foundation wears. You have a nice radiant finish, but it's not overwhelming. It does not look too wet. And honestly, I find that I really don't even have to set it. I'm gonna use a little bit of old school mineral veil today, just because I'm gonna be using a few other products, but most days I haven't even set this foundation with anything. So really pleased. If you like a natural radiant finish, I think this one is definitely going to be a winner for you. I mean, it feels like totally undetectable on the skin. Like when I touch my face, I feel like I'm wearing absolutely nothing. So also really appreciate that about it. So moving on, I just took a little bit of bronzer and I'm going to set the foundation with the original mineral veil. Like I said, some days I set this, some days I don't. Today, I just want to take down a little bit of extra shine in the center of my face. So I just have a little bit of my mineral veil in the cap, and I swear, still to this day, I think this is probably one of the most finely milled powders I don't know, do we remember Hydrating Mineral Veil? Oh, they used to be my jam. bareMinerals. Bring that one back. That was a goodie. I love the Hydrating Mineral Veil. Honestly, I could stop here. This is like what I want in an everyday complexion. Just a nice even coverage, nothing overwhelming, super smooth. I could be done like right now. I'm so excited to try this next product. I have not tried this specific shade yet, and it's the Gen Nude Highlighting Blush in the shade Mauve Glow, and it looks absolutely stunning. I've tried a few of the other shades, but this is one that I have not been able to get my hands on. These are pretty pigmented, so I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my brush and then softly sweep into the skin, and it's got a gorgeous built-in highlighter. This is the Mineralist palette in the shade Ultra Natural, and I'm really just going to be working with the matte tones in this palette. I just want like a milky Swiss chocolate daytime eye, so nothing too dramatic. Just kind of want to keep things fresh. So I'm going to start out with the shade called Ecru, which is just the lighter skin tone color, and I'm going to use that as a base all over my lids. Then I'm going to take Dawn number 5, and I'm just really lightly going to sweep that into my crease. I don't want anything too dramatic, but I also do want a little bit more depth happening. The older I get, the more I just appreciate and love matte tones. They give such a smooth appearance to the lid. To deepen things up a little bit, I'm going to take taupe on a flatter brush, and I'm kind of going to use this as a shadow liner, if you will. I'm just going to press that into my lash line. And just with the excess on my brush, I'm going to sweep that taupe color upwards a bit. I'm going to brush a little bit of Dawn on my lower lash line. And I do think I'm going to take Slate, which is kind of like this charcoal black, and finish off that shadow liner. I want a little bit more deepness happening near my lash line. To finish off the eyes, I'm going to take the Maximist Mascara. I don't think I've tried this one yet. Seems like a nice, like, supernatural volumizing formula. I'd say I'm getting more volume than I am length. So to finish this look off, I'm going to take the Mineralist lip liner in the shade Cherished Rose, which is kind of like this deeper mauve, or a little bit more of like a brown pink. This is one of my favorite gloss shades from bareMinerals, and it's what I've been wearing throughout this entire video, but I think with a darker lip liner, it just looks so gorgeous, and it's the Mineralist gloss in the shade Peace. So if you wear it by itself, it kind of just comes off as a really pretty clear tone, but I think paired with a deeper lip liner like this, I left the center of my lip bare. It just kind of allows whatever color you have underneath to kind of pop a little bit more. I think it's such a pretty color. Okay, I think I am done. And honestly, should this be my signature look? Because I'm thinking it could be a contender. I love how natural and youthful the skin looks with this foundation. And trust me, I literally said, I have got to try this. I've got to try this before I commit, because foundation launches are just they're getting a little bit out of hand. And this is so classic and beautiful to me. I've just been so pleased. Again, I think the the footage speaks for itself. I just turned 30 and I'm feeling like I'm going through this transition where a lot of foundations are just too much. They can actually age me, and this is one that I feel like just... Are we aging in reverse? Are we aging in reverse with this one? But on a more serious note, I have been extremely pleased. I'm very happy to partner with bareMinerals to share more about this because it's just a lovely formula. And I think if you're a bareMinerals fan, you're really gonna enjoy it as well. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this in action, seeing a full face of bareMinerals. It's been a hot minute, but obviously here we are. Please, this is probably one of my favorite looks I've done on my channel all year. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.